Okay, so one of the most mysterious punctuation marks that students have not really learned how to use yet are semicolons. And the thing is, and I'll openly say this, I did not really learn how to use a semicolon until I was in college. I had seen them used a bazillion times. J.R.R. Tolkien uses them a whole bunch in The Lord of the Rings. However, I really didn't pay attention to like how to use them, and none of my teachers explicitly taught me how to use them. The other thing that I think is important about this is that semicolons are fair game to be taught and assessed on the iLearn assessment, and there definitely is at least 4 to 5 questions on the SAT and the writing and language part of the test. So knowing semicolons and how they work is going to be kind of important. So in case you're wondering, a semicolon is ye old dot over a comma. That right there is what a semicolon looks like. And the rule to use this, and it's so simple, it actually surprised me when I found out what this actually was. The rule is that you separate two independent clauses with a semicolon as long as they're related. And you're like, well, what is an independent clause? Well, we've already been going over this. An independent clause is a sentence. Basically, anything that can stand on its own as a sentence is an independent clause. So you can have two sentences next to each other, and instead of having a period separating them, you can separate them with a semicolon as long as the two are related. I think a couple of examples here would probably help us understand. So I'm looking at example 1 here. I'm going to read the sentence. Reading is an important skill for life. Well, this is its own sentence. The second sentence then starts with, regardless of what you choose to do in life, you will need to be able to read. This stands on its own as a sentence. So instead of separating the two with a period, we can separate them with a semicolon. Why would we do that? Because these two sentences are both related. They're both about the concept of reading and why it's important for life. It's so simple. Like, that's the craziest thing, is people didn't really realize that semicolons are just, you can replace periods with semicolons as long as the two are related and they're both sentences. So I use another example here, although in this case I kept the semicolon, but becoming a college athlete is not just about the sport. Student athletes have to have high SAT scores and good grades to be eligible for the NCAA. Once again, this by itself can stand on its own as a sentence, so we're labeling it as an independent clause. And then on this side, student athletes have to have a high SAT score. This is also an independent clause. And because of that, we don't need to put a period between them. We actually can just put a semicolon. That brings us to example 3. So playing guitar can be a lot of fun. Playing bass is fun too. These two are related simply because they're both about playing musical instruments. Now, one of the things that I didn't mention that I'm going to mention right here is that notice that the P is not capitalized. You don't capitalize the first letter after a semicolon. Even though it's a complete sentence, you actually keep that lowercase. So that is how you use semicolons. It's so simple. You have a complete sentence, semicolon, a complete sentence that's related to the first one, period. That's how you use semicolons. So it is so simple that even I can do it. Thank you.